What's up? I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Saturday to you. My name is Kaci Jackson. I'm a registered commodity trading advisor with the National Futures Association. And today I'm going to take a look at USDCHF from a technical perspective. Now, if you are new to the channel, I do multiple time frame analysis, and it doesn't matter if you're new to the trading game. If you've been at it for a while, I think there's something that everybody can learn. And then if you're a scalper, if you're a swing trader, it doesn't matter what kind of trader you are, you should be doing multiple time frame analysis. It gives you insight into what's going on in the overall market. So let me go back. I just marked off my key levels on the monthly in order to determine where price has the potential to reverse. And that basically means that I'm going in, I'm looking for my highs and my lows, and I'm marking them off. And I've done that already, right? So on the monthly, for the last 3 months, or actually, 3 months, because we're in a new month, October. This year has flown by the way. Anyway, we've been moving to the upside, but the overall trend for USDCHF over the past year has been bearish, but it looks like we found monthly support and price is starting to push off of that level. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drill down just a little bit further to the weekly. That's my next step. And I'm identifying my key levels here on this time frame as well. And I'm just looking for significant levels of price where it has the potential to reverse. And I know you're probably wondering, like, how do you figure that out? Well, if you don't know, I strongly suggest that you go ahead, sign up for the no cost mini course. And in that, I'll give you a little bit more detail about how to identify that. So on the weekly, price is bullish, right? So for the past however many weeks since July, end of July, price has been moving to the upside. It seems to have found some sort of resistance on the lower time frame. And so it looks like it's starting to push down, but I've only got one level of weekly resistance. I don't have any other level that I can choose from, and I don't have any other level of immediate support. Now, when I'm looking to identify these key levels, I'm looking at relative to price. So these are fresh levels. I'm not going back and looking to the left to find, levels of support and resistance. Now, I will do that in order to prove that a current level, should be considered support or resistance, but I don't base a level off of what happened in the past. Okay. So let's go down to the daily. And on the daily, the move has been to the upside, right? So now I need to go in and I just need to identify those key levels again. And that's what I'm going to do. This can get kind of boring, just marking up charts, but you can definitely make it a little more interesting. But you see, we've been on an uptrend. Let me see how many pips this is. 673 pips since late July. So almost like the beginning of August. But it looks like I said, on the lower time frame, we're starting to find some rejection. And so on the daily, it appears as though price formed a level of resistance and we're starting to push down. Now, what's really going to inform me on what's happening and what's going on is when I break out that fib. If you don't use Fibonacci, you missing out. Like, fib is the way, the truth, and the light. And I say that jokingly just because when I started using Fibonacci, it really began to open my eyes up to this game and filled in so many pieces for me, right? So I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm just trying to illustrate the point that it is a phenomenal tool that will change your trading game. So I got that here. And there actually looks to be a small level just underneath here. And I know some people sometimes are like, I don't need to get that. Yeah, you do. It tells you a lot as you continue to move down the charts. Now, we identified on the daily, price had been moving bullish to the upside, but now it looks as though it may have turned bearish. So now I'm going to go down to my 4 hour. And I'm going to just do the same thing that I was doing before, identifying my highs and identifying my lows. And so on the 4 hour, we have a couple of highs that have formed. And so I'm just going to go ahead and mark these off. There we go. And let me change the pattern so this stands out just a little bit more. And what I'm trying to find now, we don't have another key level in between this 4 hour level that got broken and this daily support. So even without even pulling out a Fibonacci, my thought is that we're probably going to see price come somewhere down here before we start to see it move back to the upside. Okay, so on the 4 hour, I'm bearish. Look, daily support, price rejected off of, went back, retested, rejected, and formed a 4 hour level of resistance. Did I say support? That should have been resistance. Rejected off of resistance, came through, broke, formed another level of resistance, came back up, tested, and then dropped off. So now that I've identified, now I only go down to the 4 hour. That's because I'm looking for longer term setups. That's all the information I need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick this level right here, and I'm picking this level right here because based off of what I see, this is the last significant high. So I am going to measure to the downside because the trend has been down, and I'm just taking note that we have formed a high, a B low, price has hit the 38.2. And so theoretically on this chart, the next level that price would hit if it reacted off of this 38.2 level would be the 755, 756 or whatever that is, right? I'm just taking note on the monthly. On the monthly, I'm just overall looking at the direction of the market. And I need to remove this smart fib. I don't like to carry it down. So I just put it on each time frame that I go to. And the smart fib is basically a tool that will deploy the fibs for you so you take out the human error potential. And it's over here in the smart toolbox. You can grab it, smart fib, click above the last high. This is active. Same setup that we saw on the monthly, but on a smaller time frame. And so we have A high, B low, price pull back, but not to the 38.2. And so theoretically, this would be before we would even get to that monthly extension, you would have to get here first. So I'm marking this off just so I can know what's happening. Okay. So I'm going to delete this fib. I'm going to move down to the daily. And now I understand that if I were to deploy the fibs to the downside, like I've got the information that I need already, right? If I deploy this, it's not going to tell me much. It's not going to tell me much beyond what we already see, right? We saw this on the higher time frame, but I guess you could say it gives you further confirmation. You have A high, B low, price pulled back to, what is that? Less than a 50% fib. So theoretically, the D extension would be, or your take profit would be right around the same level that we identified on the higher time frame chart. Okay. So I'm not interested in anything that has to tell me what's going on to the downside right now. So I'm going to delete this. What I want to see is what's happening on this leg. What are we doing here? What is price doing here? So I'm going to grab my fib tool. I should have enough information in order for this fib to give me something back to let me know what's happening. And on the daily, like I said before, this is an active fib, right? And let me backtrack. Well, no, I'll do that in a minute. This is the active fib. And we broken through a key level. We rejected off the daily, which is here at the B high. We broken through the 4 hour resistance level. And so my thought is that we're coming back to this 8935 to 8892 before we figure out what else is about to happen. Okay. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go back up because I'm pretty sure. Was it the daily? Let's see. Because we saw, I'm sorry, y'all. That's not what I'm looking for. It was on the weekly then. It was on the weekly. I got to get this fib off my chart. I know some of y'all probably looking at the chart like, what the heck is going on? All these lines, what is she talking about? Just stay with me, okay? Stay with me. I promise you, it's going to make sense. So I'm going to click above the last high. So what I didn't mention on the other piece was that there's potential for price to hit this level, this 38.2, before coming down and hitting this D extension. But we'll see how all of that plays at this level, I believe. And price may bounce back down off this monthly, then go back up, then come back down. You got to play it piece by piece. But oftentimes when we have less than a 38.2 pullback, we'll typically see price stall out, which we have at the 118.127, and then push back up and then come back down. So that may be a possibility, but this also is the weekly time frame. So it means it could take a long time for that higher move to happen. So what do you do in the interim? Like what can you take advantage of in the interim? All right. So we did the 4. Did we do the 4? I don't think we did the 4. So I'm going to go to the lowest point on this chart because remember I said to the downside, I'm good. I got the information that I need. I'm trying to figure out how do I get into a move immediately where price is right now. So I clicked at the low and this is what is active for me right now. We have an A low, a B high, a less than 23.6 pullback. And we see that price stalled out at the 118.127, forming daily resistance at this area here and has started to break down. So off rip, I already know that when this happens, there's a high probability chance that price is coming back to touch this 38.2 before continuing up and hitting this D extension. So my thought is, how do I get in on this sale opportunity right now? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to set it up and I'm going to mark off my 30. Ooh, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to mark off my 38.2 because this is ideally where I'm trading to, right? And I'm going to delete this because I got what I need. I don't like a whole lot of stuff on my chart. Now, you can set this up if you're looking at it from a higher time frame. You want to have all of your trend lines. You know, you can add all of this in. I was going to start from right here, but I want to do things the proper way because y'all be watching. And I want to make sure that you're getting the right info. Okay. So, and then I'm going to click from here to here. And why am I drawing trend lines this way? Right? Why am I drawing my trend lines this way? Because this is telling me that price has changed direction. It's also showing me the speed and the momentum of the market. And so I can see we've already broken this inner trend line. So this 4-hour trend line, this is a daily trend line. This is a longer term trend line. And so I want to see price make it back to this green level. So now you're like, okay, we understand that we're looking for sales. What do I do now? Right? So I'm going to take my fib. I'm going to click above the high. I see that this is completed. And so now what I'm waiting on is, let's see. I'm going to click above that candle after the B. Try to find me an entry. So we could see one or two things that I'm thinking. We could either see, oh, wait, I drew this wrong. Hold on. We could either see if price will have to form a low here. So meaning that the candle to the right already is higher than this low. The next candle would need to be higher too. So we could see something like this, and I'm going to draw a potential low. Or price rejects off this inner trend line, pulls back, and then comes down. Now, I know from the higher time frame, I want to ride this to 895. That's where I want to ride it. So what I'm looking for is an entry. That's one thing I think we could see. The other thing is I think we could form that low and then see price push back up to this level here and then make its way down. So whatever I would do, my stop loss would be above this 4-hour resistance level. Uh-oh, that's not what I meant to do. What am I doing? Okay, so the stop loss will be above the 4-hour level. Now it's just a matter of figuring out how far price is going to pull back. And so on a different chart or a different view, you could even set this up on a smaller time frame to get that trend line break. But I'm not entering until I get my confirmations. Even though I'm pretty confident, I want my confirmations before I enter. But I'm inclined to believe that we may get this test of this 4-hour resistance level again before we see price begin to break down. And so that's my thought on USDCHF. I am curious, what are you thinking? Did you catch this first move? This first move was 150 pips. And so if we play off of this level here, that is about 200 pips to the downside. If price for some reason goes back up to the 4-hour resistance level, that's 230 pips to the target, with a potential risk of 20 pips. I know y'all be like, yo, stop loss be tight. You can make it more. I mean, if you want to play it that way, just understand that your lot size will be smaller. So if you wanted to play it up to this next level, you could, but of course that changes your risk to reward setup, all that good stuff. But it's not that many more. It's 55 pips, right? You could do that. You could play it and put it above the last high. That's another, maybe 20 pips or so, I think, something like that, 10 pips. But if you're looking for a more aggressive entry, you could bring it down, but just understand that price may hit and you may have to re-enter. But those are my thoughts on USDCHF. Let me know what you're thinking, how you're playing it. Did you get into the first move with that 150 pip drop? And are you in alignment with what I'm looking at? What's your bias? Okay. So I appreciate you guys for watching the video. If you are like Kaci, I love the way that you mark up charts. I want to learn how to do this for myself. Make sure you sign up for the no cost mini course. And I basically show you exactly what it is that I look for. And then also, if you're like, okay, I like the way you mark up charts, I want to be around people, where I can bounce my ideas off of, then you can go ahead and click the link in the video description to join the No Cost Forex Facebook Mastermind group. And in there, periodically, I will do some training. For the most part, it is a group of like-minded individuals, no hype, no fluff, just people who want to get down to the nitty-gritty of trading. Okay, so I appreciate you guys for watching. I will see you sooner than you think. Like, make sure that your notifications are turned on. I got a really good video coming for you tomorrow. Okay, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.